we can creatively try and find other ways to enable people to have the same opportunities as ordinary people.
G'day, I'm Deborah Caldo, and welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future. A future where they are safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. As a parent, I think that one of the many roles I have is to be a teacher to my daughter. She's certainly much more independent than she's ever been, but she's still on a journey where she's learning. And in some ways, that's what the second part of my conversation with Lex Ali from Big Life Adventure is focusing on. This idea that our young people often don't get the chance to continue to learn. They move from school, and for many of them, learning stops. She's also talking about something else that I think is really important, and it's that idea that our young people are often seen as taking from society rather than giving. One of the roles that we can play is to ensure they're given opportunities to give, especially because they're just as able to give to society as everyone else. And I think that would also help change perceptions, which very much links back to the idea of the social model of disability, which Lex also talks about in this episode. So let's get straight into part 2 of my conversation with Lex. Do you think that these expectations start quite early on then in school?
I absolutely think so. If you think some of the people we support 25, 30 years ago were in long stay hospitals where they were taken out of society and there was no aspirations at all for what their life could be like. I see the younger generation, it's better. People have better expectations. They're coming out using phones and they're much better equipped to know the kind of life they want. But yeah, I definitely think it starts in schools. I also think the way I'd like to see the software used is sometimes I think people are doing quite well, especially younger generation, or doing very well at school, and then they move into a social care setting and it becomes all activity-based rather than the learning-based. Now, for me, we should capture where they are in their learning, put a plan together with the teachers, add the teachers from the school on their site, add all their friends. They don't lose all their relationships. People with learning disabilities often lose their relationships depending on where they move. That's gone. And so what I would like to see is a progression from school or college using Big Life that will then take them through to continue learning and also retain all their relationships they've built over the years and raising expectations from schools around what people can achieve.
Lifelong learning is something that we all talk about, but for our guys, it doesn't necessarily seem to keep going. And I was interested to explore this idea as well, that our guys take from society rather than give. So what kind of strategies do you think we can use?
So I would be identifying skills, as in everything can be a skill. There's a young lady that so she can't read. So we identified that actually she can come and do our confidential shredding. So we're using the fact she can't read as like a super skill. It's really about identifying also things in your local community. I remember sitting with one of my managers at one point and we were doing a vocational profile on someone. And he was like, the manager was like, I cut the grass at the cricket club. So-and-so would love to do that. So it's about like identifying the things around you that people can do that suits their skills to really give. It's about seeking the opportunities for them to have purpose. Like even, like I said, I take them to Glastonbury Festival to work. Now, that was a big job to get in. I emailed every charity that worked there. I'd always had an aspiration to take the guys to a festival. I also really loved the fact that they could work there. And actually, Water were amazing. But it's still been back and forth with risk assessments and their safeguarding teams. But I was giving them guys the opportunity. When they're working, they are equal. We get to see that because I think there's always, where people require support, there's always some sort of hierarchy in power. And that needs to be removed. And so it's just about being creative to find these opportunities where they can. Got a young man and he loves to litter pick. That's something he loves. And so we contacted our council. He's now got the high vis and the council equipment and he's out day to day. For him, that's work. He's giving back to his community. People are seeing. So for me, it's really about using what I call it, a dream mapping kind of techniques to identify people's skills and be creative. And it's not always the common skills that you would see, it is about their individuality and their interests as well.
Is that where the whole sort of life plan thing comes in that you talk about, really, that you have a plan for your life rather than you use the word Groundhog Day, which I think is a
Yeah,
really good way of putting it. They just do the same thing every day and there's
same thing
no...
every day. It's better. Years ago, it used to be everyone trots along to the Learning Disability Bowling Club. Now it's very different. We see people doing fantastic things within communities.
It's almost the words that we use as well, because I wonder, the word care straight away says that someone needs care rather than that they might just need someone to enable them to do something, like you're talking about club nights and things like that. That wouldn't come under care.
No. So interestingly enough, we've had scenarios recently where a young lady is asked to go out with her funding to the pub. She can go out independently, but she gets lonely. No one wants to sit on the pub on your own. And the social worker said, no, your care's not for that, it's for cleaning. We work on 9 elements of life, and some of them we call like enabling elements, so like life skills, self-sufficiency, and some of them are more targeted, like work, relationships. Relationships is my biggest thing. 3% of people with learning disability live as a couple. But where I do my training and we ask everybody, if you could pick 5 things in your life that you couldn't live without, you get relationships, work, health, and everybody puts relationships top. How sad is it that only 3% live as a couple because they've got to jump through all these hoops often? In my training, we talk about ableism and we talk about the word disability as, do people like the word disability? And very much it was a medical term, and in the medical model, it was about fixing people. Where now the social model is very different. It talks about disabled people. Using the word disabled is absolutely fine, but it's about society that have disabled people because of ableism. We have a set up society that is set up for people that are ordinary and don't have a disability. And so I think if we start to change that, we start to advocate and trying to change the way society sees people. And it is changing and it's changing. I think social media has always been quite bad. We've always given examples of abuse. Now, TikTok, you've got some fantastic examples of people with learning disabilities and their families living amazing lives, succeeding and having great jobs and relationships. And I think the more that we can do of that and raise people's expectations for people to expect people to have same opportunities, then people might not want to take them, but the opportunities should be there for them. I'm a real believer in finding that thing that gives people passion to be a giver, to give back, to feel bigger than themselves. We had so many examples of that in South Africa. We went to a palliative care children's unit and played with the children all day. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. And I had to sit the guys down. And again, I think sometimes people have protected them from realism, from reality. They don't go to their friend's funeral because we don't know how they'll feel. That's life. And so we did the same. I had to sit down with them and say, the children we're going to see are going to die. And what do you think about that? And what can we do to make their day better? Our guys got it. They understood. They played with these children. They sat with the children. For them, they were really giving back. They were giving them children something that many couldn't. That wouldn't be a normal example of what you would think was giving, but actually it was. From human to human, they were giving. And that's one of the best days that they said they had. And we did loads. We did some fun stuff. And that was one of the best days. I think finding any opportunity where you can give back or do something meaningful bigger than yourself is worth so much. It's worth so much in their lives. I think definitely ensuring that people are given the chance to give and not being seen as takers, because that is not the case at all. Society has set them up like that. That shouldn't be the way.
So can we just finish up then with what's next? Is this something that you want supported living support agencies to be using and then scale up even further? How do you see it?
Yeah, so I would love it to be commissioned by local authority. I'd love them to say, this will be paid support, but only if you use Big Life Adventure. But actually, firstly, rather than going for businesses or organisations at the moment, my first avenue is actually people living at home with families or living on their own, because I think there's lots of loneliness, isolation, there's lots of risk on being online. And I think they are the first people that I'm targeting. So it's ready in July. The Discover is ready, which is our safe social media with the AI built. That'll be ready in the next couple of weeks. So that's £5 a month. And people get 2 free family members for that as well. So you can be part of the community on there as well. Then we have the second package, which is that and the design space, which is £8 a month. And then eventually with the dream, it will be £10 a month. And then you get all the other calendar tools and things as well. I'd love it to go national, worldwide. There isn't anything like it at the moment, and it's just really exciting. People that have used it have loved it. I've got fantastic examples already. Every morning I'm logging on and seeing the wonderful things that are going on and that people are getting involved in. So yeah, so the website as well will be launched properly in the next 2 weeks. So that will have lots more information. That's biglifeadventure.co.uk, where you'd get all the information that you need if you want to join up with us. So yeah, I'm really hoping it goes big. I'm hoping we can create a really great space for us all to come together. We have to make these things happen. And unfortunately, we could sit around and moan about the lack of funding and that's not going to change anytime soon. But we can creatively try and find other ways to enable people to have the same opportunities as ordinary people. It's go big or go home. That's the motto of the Big Life Adventure.
I think when we come across a great idea, we should share it with as many people as possible. So please share the Big Life Adventure website or connect with them, or maybe even think about working with them. The ideas that form the core of this project are too good to fail and deserve to succeed. And more importantly, they need to succeed. So our young people and the young people following them are always given all the opportunities that everyone else gets to go on that big life adventure. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and the solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. And if you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. Of course, if you want to, you can leave a review, because that is another way families who need this information can find it more easily. This show is created as part of Red Giraffe Solutions. To find out what the Red Giraffe is all about, visit redgiraffesolutions.com, where you'll find more resources around daily living, relationships, purpose and financial security. I'm at Deborah Caldo on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of those. Bye for now.